Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. And my name is Diping Huang. I'm the presenter and the instructor for today's Google Data Studio 101. Okay, and I'm gonna share my screen very quickly here. Okay, can everyone see my screen okay? Okay.
Yep, it looks great.
Okay. So Google Data Studio 101 Introduction. And this course will introduce the basics of how to turn your data into interactive reports and dashboard with Google Data Studio. And you will learn how to connect your data and create beautiful reports and collaborate with your teammate. And this course will have 2 sessions, and today will be our first session. In this session, we will cover the initial steps for your Google Data Studio account, such as how to set up the Google Data Studio account and how Data Studio works and how to access to Google Data Studio. And we will also look at how to navigate Google Data Studio. It's hard to say, right? The next session will be taking place on next Sunday, the same time at DoSpace, 2 to 3 p.m. In the next session, we will focus on how to create a new report using the report template provided by Google or other community partners. We also include how to build your first report and share it with others. If you are interested in learn more about the DoSpace event, you can go to DoSpace.org/calendar and you'll be able to see the events, and these are the events for the Google Data Studio, and you can sign up the event here, and you can also share it with your friends or family, or if you know someone will be interested in this topic, you can share it with them. Okay, so let's go to the agenda. Okay, here's the goal. Okay, here's our agenda for today. Okay, the agenda will be like 3 parts. The first will be the introduction. The second will be demo. And the last part will be the Q&A. The entire webinar will take about 50 minutes, and we will have about 10 minutes, 10 to 20 minutes Q&A session. If you have any questions, please send it through the Q&A or the chat feature. Okay, let's get started. And first question first, what is Google Data Studio? So let's ask Google. Hey Google, what is Google Data Studio? According to Google, Google Data Studio is a free tool that turns your data into informative, easy to read, easy to share, and fully customizable dashboards and reports. And let's look at some of the examples. These are the gallery from Google, and we can see there are many different reports here, and some of them look very similar to the Google Analytics. Google Analytics is one of the Google product, and they're similar, but they're not the same. So I can show you this. How do you access to Google Data Studio? And what you need to do, just type Google Data Studio. You'll be able to find this page. And as long as you have a Google account, like my name at gmail.com, or if you have a Google business account, like my email, my name at mycompany.com, you can also use that as well. And you don't have to pay for this tool, and it's free. Okay. I'm going to show you some of the example. It looks like an infographic, but it's different because Google Data Studio, you can, it's interactive. For example, if we are talking about a graphic, an infographic, you can see the number. If you shows the unique number is 370. But if you're using a Google Data Studio report or dashboard, if you, let's say, if you move the mouse, you will be able to hover and you will see the difference. Like here, you can see the day, the number will change. Not only you can like click on here and see the number, but you'll be able to choose different date. For example, if I want to see the data within the last 7 days, and you can choose last 7 days, and you can choose is either include today or not. Once we choose the date, you'll be able to see the number will be updated automatically. It also tell you the last update was on Friday. Okay, you can see it was a different number before we refresh the dashboard. And these are the template created by the Google Data Studio community. You can get the template online. It's free. One of the nice feature I like about Google Data Studio is not only you can show the number, show the pictures to the site visitor or guest, you can also add a Google form, like a survey, you can add here. So after you present the dashboard to the guests, and you can ask them to fill out a form, a Google survey, a Google form. And once they fill out the form, you'll be able to get the data. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? The other thing is about the Google Analytics. Some of you might use the Google Analytics on daily basis. Like this is the demo Google Analytics account I got from Google. The differences between the Google Analytics and the Google Data Studio is Google Data Studio does not store any data. It gets data from a different, like many different source. For example, you can get the data from Google data, from Google Analytics, from Google Sheet, and Facebook, YouTube, and many different sources. But Google Analytics will show like this. Let me give you an example. If your supervisor or your team member only want to see some of the fields of the Google Analytics report, you can pick some of them and add it to the Google Data Studio Canvas. And then you can change the background color to make it prettier. And this, you can print this. You can share with your co-workers or friends and family as well, or business partners. But Google Analytics will be a different cases. Yep. Okay. The other thing is about the nonprofit template. The Google Data Studio library or gallery have a template specific for nonprofit organization. I'm going to show you this. In all, this is a template created by Horville. a nonprofit organization, in order to use this template, what you need to do is copy the report and change the data source. You'll be able to use that. You can choose different colors to match your company's logo's color and the theme. You can see if you move the mouse and hover over, you'll be able to see the data overview, and this you'll be able to change the date like I showed that before. And this is a month report. You can change the date as well, and it has a pie chart, have the map. You can add like as many components as you need to one Canva. Like this one, we can see there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, five different components, or we call 5 different data set. You can add it to one Canva. It doesn't have to be like just one. And like this one, we have a 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. You can add as many as you want to add to the Canva, as long as it fit the page or the size of the Canva. Okay. And you can change the logo. And this information here, like the number, it's all the live data, the fresh data from the data source. For example, if you pull this data from a Google Sheet or other database, once you update the data on your spreadsheet, a Google Sheet or the Google Analytics site, and it will be updated accordingly. And you don't have to go to 2 different places. For example, you don't have to change the data on the Google Sheet first and then come back to the Google Data Studio to update the record. And once you update the source, like for example, once you update the data on your Google Sheet, you'll be able to see the change here. Okay, so we just check some of the template. And you might ask me, why Google Data Studio? We have there are many different tools on the market. Why should we use Google's Data Studio? And Google Data Studio is a very new product. It came out in 2016. It became available for the public in mid-2018, and I started to use Google Data Studio since 2019. From my personal experience, I think Google Data Studio is an amazing tool. First, it's small and it's light. It's on the cloud. And especially like right now, because the COVID-19, most of us might working from home. And if you are using the Google Data Studio, as long as you have a Google account, you can use it. And you can access to Google Data Studio from your computer, your cell phone, or even your iPad. And you don't have to install any software. It's not software. It's not like a traditional software you have to install into your computer. You can, as long as you have a Google account, you can access it anywhere. And it's fast because it doesn't store any data on the Google Data Studio. It runs super fast. And third, it's free. And there are many different tools, visualization tools in the market. And some of them has high functionality, but also come with a high price. The license fee can cost about $10,000 per year. If your team like only have a 1 or 3 people, and or if you're a student, you need to finish a school project might need to show the report, a dashboard, and to the class, and you can use Google Data Studio. And because Google Data Studio, you can share the data with your friends or other users. It collaborated, and it saves your time, and it's easy to use. Also, it's easy to learn. There are many learning materials online. Google provides some great study resource online. You can find it by searching for Google Data Studio material. It will come up. And if you go to YouTube, you can find many free resources as well. And it's easy to share. Like, for example, if you click on share, you'll be able to share through link or invite people to add the report. But this one, since it's a template, I don't have the share permission. I can show you the one I have. Like here, I can invite people. It's easy to share. It's just like when you sharing a Google Sheet to your friends. You can provide the information and just type his or her email address here, and you can manage the access. And the other thing I really like about the Google Data Studio is you will be able to embed the report on your website. Like, for example, you can embed the entire thing, just copy the code that generated by the Google Data Studio and add it to your website. You don't have to learn how to use the HTML or other code. After you finish the design and you just hit embed report, you'll be able to get the code. Like the iframe, you can copy the code and add it to your website. It's super easy. Or if you just add a URL to your website or send it to someone, once that person receives the email or the invitation, if he or she click on the link, he or she will be able to view the report or the dashboard. The other thing is about the data source. Google Data Studio, you can connect Google Data Studio with over 340 connectors. Like I mentioned before, you can connect it with Google Analytics, Google Sheets, YouTube, or even Facebook. There are many different tools, and these are from the partner. They call it connectors. But you might ask me, what if I don't have a Google Sheets? What if I don't use any of these tools? I only have the Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. Can I connect it with Google Data Studio? The answer is yes. But first, you will have to convert your data into the CSV format. Then here's the option, file update. I'm gonna do a demo very quickly here. Okay, so you can drag the file here to create a new data set. You can click to upload files. Okay, I click on this one. It's processing. Oh, we see an error message. So what's happening? Okay, because I upload the wrong data. It's an Excel spreadsheet. Like I mentioned before, we have to use the CSV. If we are using the Excel spreadsheet, it will show the error message. So let me delete this and let me add another one. This one. Okay, I click on the wrong one again. Sorry about that. I'm gonna delete it again. Okay, this one should be the CSV. It's processing. Uploaded. Yeah. Okay, so we can connect the data and then create a report. To report. Okay, so we were able to connect a CSV file with the Google Data Studio within 1 minute. And next, I'm going to show you how to connect Google Data Studio with Google Sheets. So when I open a, so let me go back to this way quickly here. Google Data Studio. Okay, here is the brand report. I'm gonna create a brand report, and this time I will connect my data, the data from a Google Sheet. So what you need to do, just click on Google Sheet, and it will shows the Google Sheets that owned by you, or someone share the data, share the Google Sheet with you, or you can add a URL. You can open the Google Sheet from your Google Drive. Yep. For example, I already have a Google Sheet on Google Drive. What I need to do, I just click on the worksheet that I would like to add it to the report. And then options, I check this is the default options, the setting, I just leave it. And then add it. Okay, this is how we add the data into the Google Data Studio. You can see it shows the data source is from the Google Sheet. Next, I'm going to show you how to connect the data with Google Analytics. If you have a Google Analytics account, that's wonderful. If you don't have, you can sign up for Google's demo, Google Analytics demo account. It's called demo account. And you just need to hit access demo account, and it will direct you to a demo. Okay. But I already connect the demo account. So let's go back. Okay. So hit add data. Choose Google Analytics. And then I choose the demo account. Once I click here, and here is the property, and I choose one map view and add it. Okay. Here we go. Now it has been connected with the Google Analytics account. Okay. So the default themes, just white background and shows the gray color. And what if I don't like it? And you can change the theme. But how do I change the theme? You might ask. You have to click on the Canva. If you click on the Canva, it will shows there are many different themes here. You can pick one, pick the color that you like. Okay, there are many different colors here. You can, if you know the specific color you would like to use, for example, you know the color code, the number, you can click edit theme and change the color here, like custom color. If I know the number, let's say 212121, and just pick a color, it will change it automatically. But what if I want to use the same color as my company's logo's color? Is it a shortcut, or is there a way we can do that? The answer is yes. So what we can do, let me go back to the style. Click on the Canva again. Scroll down to the bottom of the page and choose this. Upload from computer. I'm gonna use Facebook as example. I already download a Facebook logo on my computer. And once I choose the image, Google will pick the color and will ask me which one would you like to choose. Just pick one. I'm gonna choose this one. Just one click, you'll be able to see the change. It's amazing. Okay, this is how you change the theme's color. Okay. We just learned how to change the theme's color, and I'm gonna show you how to change the report name. It's very simple. You just need to hit the report name, and you can change the name of it. If you would like to add a page, you can add a page. If you would like to change the name of the page, you can click here. You can rename the page if you want to duplicate the page, or hide the page in view mode. Hide page in view mode means if you are the editor for this dashboard or for this report, you will be able to see this page, but the site visitor or the guest will not be able to see because you already hide it. And you can delete the page if you don't need it, and you can rename it. So I'm gonna name it as page sample. Okay. If you would like to clone a page, you can do that. I will recommend you to duplicate a page, and before you make any change to the original page. That way, if you mess up some of the setting or data, you can always come back to the original one, but you can do some update on the page to the duplicate one. So that's my recommendation. Okay. Okay. So next, I'm going to show you how to change the size of the Canva. For example, page 2. Okay. So here's the camera. And this is the landscape. You can see the canvas size is US letter. Landscape, you can choose a different type of the paper. So or you can put your own own setting. You can change it to, let's say, we look like this. So you can adjust the number accordingly based on your business requirements or the need. Okay. Like the example I showed you before, and this one, I believe it's a landscape, but this one has a different size. Yep, because they have the survey, the Google form here. So it has a different size than other ones. Okay. So let's go back to this report. And if you remember, the very beginning, we pulled the data from a demo Google Analytics account. And this is a table, and it shows the page titles and the new visitors. And each page has 100 rows. If you drag it here, you'll be able to see the items, you'll be able to see more items. But what if I only need 20 of them? And then you will need to change the number here, rows per page. If you change it to 10, let's do 10. It will look like this. Okay, and you can add a summary row here. You can see the grand total. Okay. And what if I don't want to see these numbers? That's a way to remove that. You just need to go to the style and uncheck this, and it will disappear. Or sometimes if you need to wrap the text, you just need to hit wrap text. You'll be able to see the change. If you don't like this, and you can uncheck here, it will disappear. You can also change the dimensions, the column. Like if I want to put that in the center, I will choose, and this should be the column 2. This is the column 1. So column 2, where is column 2? Okay, this is the magic column 1. Okay, I want them to be in the center. Okay, it will look like this. Okay. And this table have a two data sets. One is the page title. It means how many people visit the home pages, how many new users. But how do I know the day range? And you can do that by add a control here. It will be the day range control. Yeah, otherwise it doesn't make sense. And because I don't know this, it's a 1 month. The number is based on a month or 7 days. It looks like it's yeah, you can change it here. So can choose, just need to add the filter here. Okay. So let's go back to the data set again. Let's click on this. So we can see from October 1st, 2020 to December 31st, 2020, which was last quarter, and there are 48,000 people hit the homepage. Of course, the homepage is always the #1 hit, and people when people visit website, the homepage is the most popular one. And what if I don't want the chart, the table to show the homepage? And okay, so we can do that by click on the table, and then here's option. It's called table filter, and all you need to do, just hit add a filter. Okay, add a filter. Create a filter. So I don't want to include the home page, so I will put exclude page title, choose here, and then I add a condition here. The condition will be home. Let's enter home and see what happens. Okay, it's still here. Let's check it again. Okay, because I didn't capitalize the H, so it should be like this. Okay, this time you can see the home page is gone, and we can only see the data for other pages but not the home page. If you want to put it back, and you just need to delete the page title filters. Okay, so we just learned how to connect the Google Sheet with Google Data Studio, how to connect the CSV file, the Google Analytics with Google Data Studio. We also learned how to change the theme of the Canva, and how to choose the company's logo, and to make sure the color is matched to the company's logo, the theme's color. And we also learn how to update rows per page. Like here, we also cover how to customize the page size in Google Data Studio. Next, I'm going to show you how to add a text, like add a title to this Canva. What you need to do, just click here. If you click here, you'll be able to create a text box. So I just type sample, and you can change the color and change the font and change the size of the text information, and you can even change the background here. Yep. I just want to make sure. Yep. If you don't like it, just hit reset to report theme. It will be gone. Okay. And we can also add a logo, add an image or a logo to the Canva. For example, I'm gonna add a Facebook logo. Let's do Google's logo. Google. I already download the logo on my computer, so you'll be able to add an image here. Okay, it's very simple. You can move the image around. It doesn't have to like stay in the same place. Okay. So the next, we will learn how to join shapes in Google Data Studio. For example, if I want to draw a line like this and to separate the content, I can click on here. I can add a line here. It's very simple. Okay. I can also change the style of the line like here. Can do that. You can also add different shape, a circle, rectangle to the camera. Okay, if you want to add some text here, you can do that. It's very similar to a PowerPoint. Sometimes when you design a PowerPoint, you'll be able to use many different tools from the panel. And Canvas, I would say it's very similar to PowerPoint, but it combine the data source, combine the spreadsheet and the PowerPoint together, and to show people a beautiful report or dashboard. Okay. So the next will be scheduling data refresh. So you might ask me, could you tell me how to refresh the data? And yes, you can refresh the data. I think it's every 15 minutes. It's based on the size of the data. Some data you'll be able to refresh it every 15 minutes. It will be updated automatically. But if you are talking about a huge data set like Google Analytics, it's better to keep the default setting like every 12 hours. So we can go to the data source. Here's the options called data freshness. It shows 12 hours. Yeah. And for this data set, it's every 1 hour, every 4 hours, every 12 hours. I will choose the default one, which is every 12 hours. Okay. This is how we set up the data refreshness. And the next one will be choosing Google Data Studio template. We already know there are many different templates on the Google Data Gallery here. If you really like one of these, you can click on one. Let's say if I click on one of them, and all I need to do is copy the template and change the data. So if I use the template here, and that way you don't have to build everything from the scratch. If you really like the layout, all you need to do just change the data set, It's just like if you're trying to learn how to make tomato soup. As long as you have the ingredients and just follow the instruction on the recipe, and you'll be able to to make some soup. Like here, data source. So you can change it to your own data source. You can create a new data source. For example, if I choose a different one, okay, if I choose this one, I can choose one on my computer, or I can choose the one from the Google Sheets, the Google Drive or Google Analytics. It will show you the exact same layout as you think from the gallery, but the number will be updated. You can see because I don't have enough data, it will show missing dimensions, metrics, or filters. If I don't need that, and I just delete it. Okay, it's very simple. And the next thing will be brand data. What is brand data? Brand data means if you have two different sheets, Google Sheet, for example, I live in Douglas County, and I would like to know how many, let's say how many students live in Douglas County. So will be the first spreadsheet, the first Google Sheet will include information to show how many students live in Douglas County. And the second one will be the total population in Douglas County. What if I want to combine these two Google Sheets together? And in this case, you can bring data. You can combine two data set together. And here is example here. You also have a video. Google provide a video here to show you the information. Here's some limitation here. The branding is a lab out join. You can only use the lab join. Means you have to have a join kit. Like this one must have the sales representative ID number. So will be the join kit. I think it can combine like a brand up to 5 different data sources. For example, if you have 5 different Google Sheet, you'll be able to use that, but you might not be able to use in more than 5 Google Sheets or 5 different data sources. Okay, yeah, you can bring up to 5 data sources in a chart. Okay, so that will be all for today's class. We learn many different things from the demonstration, and we cover the basic knowledge of Google Data Studio. And let's recap. And we learn how to connect Google Sheet with Google Data Studio. We also learn how to connect the Google Analytics as well as the CSV file, and you can upload a CSV file into the computer, and then you can upload it to the Google Drive and connect it with Google Data Studio. We also learn how to choose a theme, how to choose a logo, and how to update the rows per page, and how to customize page size in Google Data Studio. I also show you how to add text box as well as image in Google Data Studio. And we also learn how to add the page number, how to add the pages and change the name of the pages, like a copy, a clone, or delete the page and update the page's name here. And we also learn how to add a control, the date range to the Google Data Studio. And we learn how to draw a line to separate the items on the Canva. We learn how to refresh the data set, like every 12 hours, every 1 hour. We know how to find the setting and how to change it. And we also learn how to share the data with other people. Like here, I'm gonna go over this again. We also learned that Google Data Studio can be embedded on the website as long as you are able, you generate the code, the iframe code from the Google Data Studio. You'll be able to add the code on your website. And we learn how to choose the Google data template from the gallery. We also learn how to bring data together. So here we go. Also learn how to bring the data. So these are all the items we cover in today's sessions. If you have any questions, please send me through the chat or the Q&A. And thank you. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We have another session on Sunday, next Sunday, January 24th, 2 to 3 p.m., same times at DoSpace. And the next session, I will show you how to use Google Data Studio to create your own reports. It will be super fun because you will learn how to use some raw data like this to create a beautiful and interactive report with your teammate. Thank you. Okay. So, okay, that's a question from Joy. Does the embed data on my website update when I update my Data Studio, or do I need to update the embed file every time I update my Data Studio file? The answer is you do not have to update anything on your website. Once you update the Google Data Studio, update here, it will be update on your website automatically. And you don't need to update twice, just once. Once you update here, it will update automatically. I'm talking about the design. Like once you update here, let's say if I change the logo, the size is too big for the logo, and I change it like small. I change it to a smaller logo. It will be updated on the website automatically. As for the data, you will need to update the data on the data source. Like this one, I got it from, let's say I get it from a Google Sheet. You will have to update from the Google Sheet. So once you update on the Google Sheet, it will be updated here, and then it will be a trigger, and it will refresh the data on your website as well. So you don't have to do like 3 times. You just need to update one thing. If you want to update the data, just need to go to the the data source, which is a Google Sheet or Google Analytics or other data set. No, as long as the design will be the same, and you don't have to go to the Google Data Studio to update design. So, yep. Okay, that's one more question here. Okay, that's one more question. Is there an e-certificate on this webinar?
I actually answered that. Sorry.
Oh,
We're good on that. If you do need like a certificate, we don't offer certification, but if you do need, you know, proof that you've attended the webinar, we do send out an email a couple of days after the fact that says, hey, this is your proof that you've attended the webinar. If you don't get that for some reason, you can email us at programs@dospace.org and we can give you a confirmation.
thank you, Brent. And that's also a certificate specific for Google Data Studio. If you are interested in that, you can go to the Google Data Studio's homepage. After you finish the course, and you'll be able to get the certification. I think you can get it for free if you pass the exam. You'll be able to find some information. Okay. Okay.
Our time is coming to an end. Do we have any more questions? I will take that as a no. Well, I posted the link. If you haven't registered for next week's session, posted the link in chat. I hope that you'll all take a moment and register for next week's session. And like I said earlier today, if you want to view this again, this webinar will be up on our YouTube channel later in the week. And do we have any questions or any final thoughts?
Okay. And thank you everyone for joining today's webinar. I will see you next week.
Yes. Thank you very much. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you, Bryn. Thank you.